Hey guys, welcome back to WODdoc Project 365, episode 1343. Guys, if you're following along on YouTube, please jump on over to WODdoc.com. Check out all of our full-length episodes. That's where we house them. What we're talking about today is forearm recovery. I got some questions in asking and expressing some discomfort that people were having in both the extensor side of the forearm and the flexor side of the forearm. You know, with 18.1 and 2, the amount of volume and the intensity has probably been a lot higher than most of us are used to. So a lot of us, especially in the position where we're going into what they call radial deviation, or when your wrist flexes towards your thumb, right? Which will excite a lot of these. Well, it'll do both sides, but mostly extensors of the wrist on this side, on the thumb side. So anyway, we're gonna go through 3 recovery strategies, all that you can do at your home. I'm going to do this with the lacrosse ball, and everything else will be done by itself. You guys can substitute out a lacrosse ball for a foam roller if you don't have one, okay? So what we're going to be able to do right here is we're going to start by making several passes, 30 seconds, on our extensor side, or the opposite of the palm side for you guys, okay? So palm's going to come up. If I'm using a lacrosse ball, I'm just going to put my hand down on top of it like this. If I'm using a lacrosse ball, I'm just going to put my hand down on top so it doesn't spush out the side, right? If I go like this and I kind of just create like a little barrier, now I can use that lacrosse ball to really get in there. I can do the same thing when I go up and over top onto the wrist side or the palm side, and I can just, hunt and seek for those areas of tenderness, all right? And once if I do find an area of tenderness, all right, I can just start to make open and close my hand, flex and extend my wrist, okay? If I'm up a little bit higher into the forearm, a lot of times we'll get away from the lacrosse ball in itself, and I'll just start to use my knee. So I'll put my hand down on the ground like such, get my knee over top of it, and I'll just start flexing and extending. And I can roll my knee back and forth like this, or I can roll my knee through the longitudinal axis, so towards the elbow and towards the wrist. So if you guys can see that right there. So I can roll back and forth with my knee, or I can roll longitudinal axis, okay? And then from right there, the third and final thing that we're gonna do is a simple stretch. And there's a bunch of different variations. Again, I've been working on this left arm here. So the first variation is just driving up over top. I've shown this 1,000 times, right? Driving up over top. And then what we could do is we could turn our wrist to the side and we could drive to the side, okay? And then we could do the third variation is where we pull back when we drive, when we take our fingers and point them towards our knee. If I'm gonna do this in like a rep scheme, I'm spending about 30 seconds with the lacrosse ball on each side. Unless I find a hot spot, then if I'm hunting and seeking and I find a hot spot, I'm gonna turn something like a 10 into a 5. When I go ahead and I get up into that meatier portion where I'm gonna mash with my knee, that's again about 30 seconds per side, unless I find a hot spot. If I hunt and seek and find a hot spot, I'm gonna turn a 10 into a 5. And then finally with the stretch, I'm thinking about when I come into this position and I'm starting to drive over, I'm thinking about a 1, 2, 3 count, and I'm thinking about 15 repetitions at the 12 o'clock position, the 9 o'clock position, and then the 6 o'clock position, okay? So hopefully this helps you guys out and gets you ready for tomorrow. 18.3 open announcement. What do you think guys, what do you think it will be? Questions, comments, post it below. Otherwise, we're here each and every night optimizing function to optimize performance.